NetsBoy, so let's hear what he has to say. His name is NetsBoy, he thinks the world is all over when the Nets just can't play. What up, Net fans? NetsBoy here, bringing your latest in your Brooklyn Nets news. Okay, so the Nets are almost done with this rough road trip that they're on. They still have 2 more games on the road trip, on the 7-game road trip. But the first 5 games of the road trip basically kind of went the way you expected, with the little wrinkles in it. I wanted them to go 3-2, and I was really hoping they would go 3-2. Instead, they went 2-3, which, if you think about it, the way they went, it could have been worse, because that Kings game, which we're going to talk about later on, really could have gone south, and they really could have gone 1-4. So, let's just start and look at the last 5 games. They started off the road trip against the Oklahoma City Thunder on national television. It was one. I think it was the first, might be the second. I don't remember. It's either the first or second game that was nationally televised with the Nets this year. And which was really neat, because it wasn't originally supposed to be nationally televised. The NBA made a change to the schedule, which they do often based off if certain teams aren't playing at certain levels. And it was just really nice. And I think the Nets, they played hard that game. They looked inconsistent, but they were able to hang with the Thunder most of the way. But at the end, too much Russell Westbrook, and then Paul George got going. And it was just nice to see, the Oklahoma City Thunder playing the, according to Hubie Brown, the New Jersey Nets on on national television. I mean, poor Hubie Brown. Look, I'm gonna give him a pass. I mean, the man is been doing this for a long, long time now, and I'm trying to be as respectful as possible, because he is a great, to me, he's a great color commentator, and he was a great coach back in the day. And he's just been around the game for such a long time. He's an NBA lifer. But I don't know how many times he called the Nets the New Jersey Nets in that broadcast. It was very funny. Being from New Jersey, and being originally a New Jersey Nets fan, I just kept laughing at it. I'm like, that's great. They're still the New Jersey Nets, apparently. But, if I was a Brooklyn Nets fan, like a true live-in Brooklyn Nets fan, I would have been a little ticked off. Like, come on, Hubie, get it right. Come on, how many times are you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. That'd be like someone going, hey, look, it's the Vancouver Grizzlies. Like, you know what I mean? Like, jeez, that they're not there anymore. And of course, maybe not the best example, because they've been much more farther removed from when they were the Vancouver Grizzlies to the Memphis Grizzlies. But my point is that, I kind of felt that at this point, what is this, the 6th year that the Nets are in Brooklyn? 5th or 6th season? I actually don't really remember. I have to try to, 5th or 6th year that they're in Brooklyn already, So you would think by now people are used to calling them the Brooklyn Nets. And I know Hubie Brown is set in his ways, but I don't know. It was very amusing. That was funny. But anyway, overall, the Nets lost the game. They put up a good fight. But at least they didn't embarrass themselves. That's all. Then they played the Jazz. That game was just a big disappointment. They played like crap from the beginning. I really thought that they had a chance to win that game going into it. I thought that was going to be one of the games that they could have upset. No, that sure didn't happen. And then the Clippers game, which was just heartbreaking game. The Nets were down the whole game. They come back to tie the game, just to lose on a ridiculously deep 3-ball by Lou Williams, who just, that's what Lou Williams does, though. He makes big plays. He's a great player. If you remember, he's somebody I said I wanted the Nets to try to trade by the trade deadline earlier this year. And I think he would still be a really great fit with the Nets. But anyway, the Nets would have to give up something pretty good for him anyways. And I don't know if the Clippers are trading him in the first place. But big shot by Lou Williams. Nets ended up losing that game. So I'm like, because to me, that was the most winnable of the first 3 games that the Nets could have done. They could have stole the game against the Clippers. And between the Jazz and Clippers game, one of them they had to try to upset, but they did not. And that brings us to the Kings game, which I'm telling you right now, that was the most emotional game for me ever. Not just because the fact the Nets were down by 25 going into the fourth quarter and down by as much as 28. But, and I can say this because I live in New Jersey, I bet on the Nets to win that game. And I bet the Nets just to win outright. And you have no idea what I was like watching that game. I don't do a lot of online betting, with the betting sites and so on and so forth. I'm not going to name them because, well, they're not paying me. I guess I can say them. I don't think it matters enough. But beside the point, marketing, give them free marketing, whatever. Give them free promotions. FanDuel, DraftKings, all those places. Anyway. So, I don't do it a lot, but I do every once in a while make a certain little bets just for fun. Once again, I live in New Jersey, and I'm claiming that again, so I can legally do it. And I had a bet on that game. I bet that the Nets would beat the Kings. What a crazy emotional game to bet, and I was so angry. I was cursing. I said, I can't believe the bleeping Nets. Now the bleep, okay, they bleep. And I said, I can't believe I lost all this money, which wasn't really that much money. But it was money. I can't believe I lost money on the bleep. And then with each basket that D'Angelo Russell started making. And then Hollis-Jefferson comes in and starts making plays. And another basket by Russell. Big rebound, big block. Wait a minute. They're not going to pull this out. They're just toying with me. And then somehow Jared Dudley hits a three and puts them up. And I'm just going nuts. I mean, if you look at, other than D'Angelo Russell, who obviously the whole reason why they won that game was him. And I know Hollis-Jefferson hit the game-winning shot, which was even more of a shock. But to me, it was the people who I've hated all year, Dudley and Hollis-Jefferson, who made the big plays. Obviously, Russell took him to the next level, and when Hollis-Jefferson made that basket, I was going nuts for all the reasons I just mentioned. And it was just a great win. And D'Angelo Russell, I think this was truly the game where we all saw how great he really can be. And there was never any dispute on how good he could be. It's just how consistent can he do it. And I think this was finally the moment where we're all... I don't want to say it's safe to say D'Angelo Russell is going to be a star, because I still don't know if he's going to be consistent enough in the long term, but he's right there, and it was just a great moment for him and his career to show everyone that he can be a go-to guy and be a big player. And remember my last episode, I talked about the difference between star players and superstar players. I said D'Angelo Russell, he's basically a star at this point, but I don't think he'll ever be a superstar. Well, if he does more games like he did with the Kings, then obviously I'm going to have to change my narrative. But that's the thing. How often is he going to do that? But either way, it was great to see him. He scored, 27 of his 44 points in the fourth quarter. Just willed the Nets back. Obviously, like I said, Hollis-Jefferson made big plays. So did Jared Dudley. Krug's made some good plays. The whole team just played really, really solid. Really at the end of the game, and just a great win. And like I said, I won some money, which made me even better, especially for how bad it was looking. So just a great game overall. One of the best games all year for the Nets. And then they follow that up with poetic justice for D'Angelo Russell, I guess, by the Nets going to the Lakers and going in LA and beating LeBron James and the Lakers and officially eliminating the Lakers from playoff contention and LeBron James. First time since his second year in the league that he is not going to make the playoffs. And you know what? I'm shedding no tears for Bron. I'm not. I don't blame him. People are going to be blaming him for some reason. To me, it was never LeBron James' fault about this team. It was how the team was constructed. Is that Magic Johnson's fault? Is it Jeanie Buss? I don't know. But to me, they just really put together a really poor team around LeBron. And it has nothing to do with, young players or experienced veterans. It just has to do with players that just don't fit. Rondo does not fit. JaVale McGee is okay, except when that game with JaVale McGee had like a career, what was it, like 37 points and like 20 rebounds or something like that, something crazy like that. But, JaVale McGee's an okay player, but he's not a great fit. Lance Stevenson is not a great fit. You need players who play off of LeBron, not players who need the ball in their hands. So, poor team, that's why the Lakers are the way they are. Obviously, the young players and the injuries, having Lonzo Ball going out early and Ingram having inconsistencies, and then the drama about what they got to get Anthony Davis. I mean, look, I could spend a whole episode talking about the Lakers. But I do want to say this. I do want to go on the record saying this. Because everyone says it's poetic justice. D'Angelo Russell, they gave up on him. They picked Lonzo Ball over D'Angelo Russell. I just want to say one thing. It's not as black and white as that. We need to remember that the reason why there was a couple of reasons why. But it was not just, I don't want D'Angelo Russell, I want Lonzo Ball. That wasn't Magic Johnson's mentality. It wasn't one or the other. It was, I really like Lonzo Ball. I really like to bring him on my team. But I have D'Angelo Russell. In the process, though, I got Mozgov's ridiculous contract. And I got to try to shed some salary cap because I want to go after big name free agents like LeBron James. So how can I get rid of this contract? You know what? I'll pair him up with D'Angelo Russell, who's got lots of talent, and maybe ship him to a team like the Nets who have cap space and say, you know what? Here's an asset. Instead of a draft pick, because that's what they did. Instead of putting a draft pick to a bad contract and trading away, they put a good young player with a lot of upside with a bad contract and traded away. And they did that because they were in a situation to get Lonzo Ball, a player that Magic liked, and they wanted to get rid of Mozgov's contract to bring in a big-name free agent, which ended up being LeBron James. So it's not that black and white. And in some ways, you can make the argument that it was more like not D'Angelo Russell or Lonzo Ball, but pick and choose D'Angelo Russell or LeBron James. Because by making that trading away Russell and trading away Mozgov's contract, though there are other moves that Magic Johnson had to do to get the money as well, it allowed them to have enough cap space to sign LeBron James. So this whole how can they pick Lonzo over Russell thing, blah, 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 that's not the narrative. The narrative is more or less, did they need to give up on Russell? Because there were other moves that they could have done to try to probably get rid of Mozgov's contract that didn't involve D'Angelo Russell, and I do admit that. It was them saying, you know what, he's expendable. It's basically saying he's expendable, so let's pair him up to try to go for free agents. That's what it was. So I just want to make that clear because a lot of people partner up D'Angelo Russell and Lonzo Ball when really it's more to it than that. But anyway, poetic justice, Nets win that game, eliminate LeBron and the Lakers. How great is that? And now the Nets are still competing. They're in the 7th seed. They're 38 and 36 right now. They are a game behind behind the Pistons, even though they have more wins, but they have more losses because they haven't played the same amount of games. So their percentage is lower, but neck and neck with the Pistons. So now, let's look at the next couple games for the Nets before we wrap up this video because it's going a little long because I had a long rant about the Lakers. Go figure. So they got a really, really tough game now. Excuse me. On Monday against the Trailblazers. Now, I don't want to say this is good because it's not good because it involves a guy being hurt, but CJ McCollum is been hurt. He's not going to be playing. At least I don't believe he's going to be playing that game. I know he got hurt. I don't think he's expected to return for a while. So that's decent for the Nets, but they still are a very good team, the Blazers, and that's going to be a tough game. It's winnable, but I don't know if they're really going to win that game. It'll be tough to see. Then they go all the way across the country to Philadelphia. Now, luckily, it's like 5-6. It's like 5-6. Excuse me. It's 3 days apart from that game because they play the Trailblazers on Monday. Then they'll play again on Thursday. So you have 3 games, 3 days in between. Really 2, but 2 or 3 days to recover from the West Coast trip. And they play a very big, tough game against the 76ers, in which I will be at that game down in Philadelphia. I got tickets. visiting a good buddy of mine, and I am going to go to the Nets 76ers game in Philadelphia. So I will be at that game wearing my Nets apparel, and I'm actually excited because, believe it or not, it is the first time that I have ever gone to a visiting team's stadium rooting for the visitors. Go to another team's stadium rooting for the visitors. Because, I've gone to other stadiums and other arenas before, but usually more just like enjoying the sport, not going for Nets. This is actually the first time. Shocking, right? Being such a big Nets fan, this is the first time I'm actually going to a basketball game, a professional basketball game, in which the Nets are playing, not in the Barclays Center. This is the first time. So, well, that's not true. Let me be more correct. Not when they're home, because obviously I went there when they played in the Prudential Center in New Jersey and Continental Airlines Arena back in East Rutherford, or went down the Izod Center, or I don't even know what the heck is there anymore. But beside the point. So I'm actually really excited because this is the first time I'm going to be going in enemy territories with my Nets apparel. So I'm pretty pumped for that. But then after that, they finally get back home, but then they played the Celtics, and then they got a game against the Bucks, which also fun fact, I'm going to be at that game too because I want to see Brook Lopez. So I actually get to go to 2 Nets games of the next 4 games. I'm going to go to 2 of them. I'm pumped about. If you happen to see me at any of these games, I don't know if you're going to be in Philly, or if you see me at the Bucks game, say, hey, NetsBoy. And if you say, hey, NetsBoy, I am almost 100% going to acknowledge your existence. Now, what will I be wearing? Most likely this minus the sunglasses. So I'll look like this. And if you see this, and I'm also very short, just say NetsBoy. If it's not me, then they won't respond because very few people know who the hell NetsBoy is. So, but if it is me, I'm going to respond. Just a fun thing. Just a fun thing. Anyway, so I will be at that game against the Bucks, and hopefully they can win that one. And then a tough game against the Raptors, and a tough game against the Bucks. I can't even tell you what I expect this team to do the next couple games. I'm hoping that they can win at least 2 of the next 5. This is really a tough stretch. We already know about this, but it's just not easy. You got the Bucks twice, the Celtics, the 76ers, the Trailblazers, the Raptors. Well, anyway, I'm just going to wrap this up because, we're going on around 18 minutes now, and that's a long video. Thank you guys for staying with me and my ranting about a lot of things that were irrelevant, like the Lakers. Anyway, keep your eyes open for the next NetsBoy episode. Let me know what you think's going to happen moving forward and what your reaction was of these last couple games, including that Kings game. And what do you think about D'Angelo Russell? If you agree with me that he's proven he's a star, but I need to see a little bit more that he needs to be a superstar. Just a little bit. He's right there, but he's not there. Anyway, this is NetsBoy. Signing off.